Thank you. We left off 2 dots, right? 2 dots, mem aleph.
Yep.
Okay, it's a much easier daf tonight than last night's stuff. Basically, we're going to talk about apotropis, and if you hand over your shor to somebody else and it ends up being a mu'ud, right? A guy borrows your shor and ends up being a mu'ud or something like that, then you have this who's responsible. So talk about him. Apotropis, yeah, see 10 lines down be'erech. Apotropsim, mishalmin min aliyah, they pay from the best. Bein mishalmin koifer, and they don't pay koifer. Meaning koifer is if the shor gores somebody, then you potter, but you're not chayim misu because it's only your shor that did it, not anybody else. And when the shor, but you have to pay a kapara, right? So if the apotropos is in charge of the Yisayim's animals or the Chereshot of a katan, so if they gore, he does not have to pay koifer. Okay, so when it says man tana kufra kapara, v'yasmi labene kapara. Who is the tana that says that kufra is a kapara? Meaning koifer. If you say that koifer is a kapara, so then the kids don't need a kapara. So then that's why the apotropos doesn't have to pay. If you say koifer is mammon, so then maybe he does have to pay. So mantana kupra kapara b'yasmi labene kapara. It's a kapara, and the yisam are not b'nei kapara. So Rav Chisda, Rabbi Shmuel ben Eish, Rabbi Yochanan ben Brayka. It's Rabbi Shmuel ben Eish, Rabbi Yochanan ben Brayka. The Tanya of a nasan pidyon nafshay. It says he has to give the pidyon of his nefesh. Right? Pidyon nefesh is not just a chsidish thing. Right? Isn't that pidyon nefesh? Isn't that Breslov? Is that Breslov? No. I don't know, pidyon nefesh. I don't know. Anyways, that's not what it means here. Here it says v'nasan pidyon. I mean, it is a pidyon of your nefesh. You have to give a pidyon of your nefesh. The main nizik, it's how much. Meaning, how much do you have to pay? Whatever the nizik was worth. Meaning, if your shor gored and killed a person, and that person in the slave market would sell for $100, so then the kapara, the koifer, is $100. So no, the kapara, the koifer. I'm sorry, I keep calling it kapara. That's the whole shayla. Is it a kapara or not? So the Tanakama holds it goes with the nizik, whatever the nizik was worth. And Rabbi Shmuel ben Eish, Rabbi Yochanan ben Brayka says it goes with the mazik. My love, this is the machlokes. The Rabbanon Savri go from a minor. The Rabbanon hold its koifer as a mammon. It's a money payment. So since you damaged a person, the guy died, and he was worth 100, so you have to pay 100. Rabbi Shmuel ben Eish, Rabbi Yochanan ben Brayka savar kufra kapara. He holds it's a kapara. So who's the one that needs a kapara? The damager. Right? The damager needs a kapara. It's his animal that gored. So Mamela, since he's the one that needs a kapara, so we give the worth that he would sell on the slave market. Right? So then Mamela, where we're saying that an apotropos doesn't have to pay because it's a kapara, and Yisayim don't need a kapara. Everybody holds a kufra kapara. Here's the machlokes. The Rabbanan Savri b'den nizik shaminam. They hold you evaluate the koifer with the nizik. Rabbi Shmuel ben Eish, Rabbi Yochanan ben Brayka, some with the mazik shamin, you go with the mazik. My time at the Rabbanan. Why the Rabbanan say that you go with the nizik? Because it says nemra shisa lamata. It says the word shisa. Right? It says in koifer yushas Allah. You place on him, or you evaluate on him, koifer. But nemra shisa lamala, and it says shisa in the psukim before, which is referring to when the guys are fighting and they hit a woman who's pregnant and they cause her to lose the baby. Right there it says onish yonish kasher yoshus Allah bal ha'isha. Alon the nizik, just like over there we're talking about the nizik, afkan the nizik. Here too we're also talking about the nizik. It says v'nasan pidyon nafsha, that he needs. It says his, right, his nefesh. Rabbanon. Yes, pidyon nafshik ziv miyu kishamina b'nizik shamina. If once they evaluate, they're doing it with the nizik. Right, because meaning when it says nafshoy, it's not his nefesh, meaning the mazik's nefesh. It's saying the nefesh for meaning it means avada means his nefesh needs a kapara, but he is the one that's going to have to meaning he's going to have to pay it based on the worth of the nizik's worth, right? Okay, so basically the Gemara is saying that everybody holds a kufr as a kapara, and the machloek is over how much kufr you pay, whether it's the nizik or the mazik, based on psukim. Okay, fine. So Mishabeach is an interesting story. In Mishabeach, le Rav Nachman to the Rav Acha bar Yaakov, the Adam Gadol who. So Rava told Rav Nachman that Rav Acha bar Yaakov is an Adam Gadol, right? Best guy in Lakewood, right? He tells you, this guy coming over here, best guy in Lakewood, right? Amar Lei, so he said to him, so Rav Nachman said, when he comes to visit you, bring him to me. So when Rav Acha bar Yaakov came to Rav Nachman, Amar Lei said to him, ask the question. Right? Now it's an interesting thing because I didn't know who's asking the question to who. Initially, I thought that Rav Nachman asked him the question. Usually, you get a new bacher in town, right? So he goes faher to the Rosh Hashiva, whatever. The Rosh Hashiva asks him questions. It's going to be proven as the story goes on that that's not what happened here. Rav Nachman asked Rav Acha bar Yaakov to ask him questions, right? So he asked Amalei. So he asked him, Shar shel shnei shutfim. You have a shar that belongs to two partners, and then that shar goes and kills somebody. How do they pay the koifer? Right? Mishalim high koifer b'high koifer. Does each one have to pay a koifer? Meaning, when you think about it, there's two owners to the shar. They were both responsible for their shar killing somebody, right? So now what? Each one should pay a koifer. It says koifer echad amar Rachmana v'lo shnei koifer. The pasuk says you pay koifer lashon yachid. Doesn't say two koifer. Okay, so that can't be. So each one should pay half, meaning they should split it. High chatzi koifer, high chatzi koifer. Koifer shalom amar Rachmana v'lo chatzi koifer. It doesn't say you pay half koifer. You pay the whole koifer.
So because we can't figure out what kofer means, whether it's one or two, so therefore the guy who got damaged goes away, gets nothing.
Correct.
How is that fair?
It's not fair.
Okay.
Right? I'm saying if a guy gets damaged by a cheres shaitan katan, he also doesn't get paid. Right? Why is that fair? Right? Even though Taisus says that he's going to get paid, he does have to pay the damages, right? I think this is a bonus on top. No, doesn't he have to pay for the damages instead of this?
It's like getting hit by the undocumented without insurance on their cars, and they smash your car.
But this is not undocumented and no insurance. This is two partners two normal Yidden or whoever who damaged. It's not an undocumented.
They're hiding behind an LLC.
It's not a blind person. It's two regular people.
What would be the first thing to do then if you own the shar? You get a partner, right?
Right.
This was the case, right? The smart money would make sure you get yourself a partner. Right?
We had something similar like this, Tiago, before, where like a heter or something. We kind of coming out with it. I think Rav Aaron wasn't happy with it.
What, a legal loophole?
Yeah, it was shutzvim or something.
Yeah.
We had what's it called? The chamar, pet chamar. You get a goyish partner, no something.
That's any pigeon. That's any pigeon.
Right.
Right. You get a goyish, but that's to get you not out of paying damages.
And you bring it in through the window to get out of Meiser. That's another legal loophole.
It fits in very good with the Aruch Sadiqim tonight. Very good.
What do you mean?
You just don't do mitzvahs. You don't have to worry if you're doing them properly or not.
I hear. Yeah. Okay. It's there's got to be. I don't know exactly, but it has to be that there's some sort of payment here. I wasn't sure if that's what Tosis is saying. All right. Now Tosis Dakle in Koiva the Kapara, the Bastama Kapara Shlema Tzricha. You need a real, you need a complete kapara.
I understand, but I don't care. I'm saying I'm the guy who got damaged. Great, good for your kapara. That has nothing to do with the fact that you guys damaged my shore. Who's paying? The separate issue is it a kapara if you're paying Katzi Kofer? Who's going to get the kapara? That's a separate thing. But these guys damaged my shore. What?
They killed the person in this case, not another shore. It says they
Okay,
killed the
so
person.
I'm saying what their kapara is not my problem.
Well, yeah, no, I hear.
Why don't we see how he answered the Shiloh? The Shiloh was asked, and we don't see how he answered the Shiloh.
Didn't answer. Very good, Rahman. We're going to see if the Gemara, he doesn't end up answering it. He must have been a good guy, right? Rava told him he's a good guy, right? So he asked him a good question. So then Adi Yosef, let's go back on the story. Adi Yosef when Rav Nachman was sitting and thinking about it, Amarle, he said to him, Tanan, and then he bombed him with another question. Tanan, Chayabi, Erchin, Mashkin. So if somebody does Erchin, so Erchin, everybody has a certain price, right? Erchin is a set price. Erchin means a guy says, I'm donating myself to the Beis HaMikdash or donating my friend. So there's a set price. Up to age 30 is one price, 40 is another price, I don't know, 50, whatever, right? So, but you're mashkin them, meaning if the guy says he's going to donate his worth to the Beis HaMikdash, and he doesn't get his act together to give it, so then the Gizbar from the Beis HaMikdash is going to come take a mashkin from him and say, hey, buddy, we're taking this away from you because you have to pay up. I said, but somebody is chayav to bring a korban chatas, or an asham, that we're not mashkin in it. Why?
They have field agents all over Eretz Yisrael, where the whole Yiddishkeit took place within 6 blocks of the Beis HaMikdash.
What's the difference?
I'm just wondering. I'm just always interested in how these things work. How do they practically work?
When they went all out, I mean, I don't know. I'm not copying what you're saying.
A guy in Haifa owes a chatas. So he owes a chatas, no. So when next time he's in Yerushalayim, we'll bring a chatas. Like what?
No,
what's the big spritz? Like what?
Because you have Baal Ta'acha.
Okay, there's Baal Ta'acha. So he has to take care of his Baal Ta'acha, no?
Right, exactly. I think that's exactly. I think that's what the Gemara is saying. Since he has Baal Ta'acha, the Gizbar doesn't have to send the honchos after him because he knows that he has 3 Yom and Tovim to pay up. Otherwise, we're assuming that the Olam is Erlich.
Yeah, I didn't say that he's not Erlich, the fellow.
I'm just saying well, there has to be a limited Erlich because if the guy is saying that
he's chayav,
right? If he's chayav chatas, no, he's chayav chatas. He made a mistake, Sean.
I mean, the line before we got is getting a partner, so he doesn't have to pay. So now we're talking about the Erlich Yid.
Well, correct. Well, then also you have when you think about this guy with the Erchin, right? So if he's so Erlich, why did they need to be mashkin him? Right? So Elamai, the human nature is that if you don't have a what do you call it?
Skin in the game.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But there's but I'm saying if you don't have a due date, not a due date. What's it called? If you don't have a deadline. Thank you, Ma. There we go. It's like brachas when my mother was part of the daf. So you have a deadline, right? So if you have a deadline to do it, so you're going to meet that deadline at some point. You may not do it right away, but Erchin has no deadline. That's the point. Erchin, there's no deadline. So like any other litigator, how do you say it? As any procrastinator, that's it. You're going to procrastinate. So for Erchin, you send the guys after him to make sure he pays up. For korban chatos is not. So that's what I'm saying. Is the guy erlich? Is he not erlich? I don't know. Somewhere in the middle, mistama. Right. So, but anyway, so chayve chatos they and asham. Since the guy has a deadline, you don't have to give him a mashkin. Guy from erichin, there's no deadline. You got to take a mashkin from. Otherwise, the guy's never going to pay off. So chayve koifen. What about a koifen? Right, that he has to pay koifen. So what's the din? Kiva the kapara who kechatas v'asham dami. Since it's a kapara, so it's like a chatas and an asham, right? A chatas and asham, the whole point is a kapara. There you don't have to take a mashkin from the guy. You don't have to take any collateral because he's gonna take care of his chatas and asham. So koifer is the same thing. Machmer, sorry, stop mid sentence. My kiva the kapara who kechatas v'asham dami. So it's very chomer onto him. And you don't have to give him a mashkin. Or do you say, since it's going to his friend, say, yeah, it's his friend. He owes his friend some money. It's not going to the Beis Hamikdash, right? And it's like a regular monetary thing. But it's not strict on him. We have to give him a mashkin. That's one side. Inami or. Since he didn't do a chet, right? It was his animal. And it's only his mom and his animal that did the damage. It's not strict on him, and then you do have to give him a mashkin. Right? So we don't know. There's a whole bunch of options here. This is what Rav Yaakov asked to Rav Nachman. Amrlei, so Rav Nachman told him, Shavka, get out of here. Like, leave me alone. Right? It's Stager b'kamaisa. I was already locked up from your first kasha. I was not locked up from your first kasha that I don't have an answer to. And now you want to lock me up with the second kasha. Right? So that's it. Leave me alone. So I'm assuming that means that he was a good guy. Right? He would be masking. But Racham, the Gemara doesn't say a teretz. Obviously, the reason why the Gemara brought this kasha here is because the kasha is on Koifer. Fine. So Torah Rabban, 3 wide lines down. Torah Rabban, Shalu b'cheskas tam. Right? If a guy borrowed a shor on a chazaka that it was a tam, he goes to the guy and says, "Can I borrow your shor?" Yeah. It behaves. He says, "Yeah, it behaves. It's givaldic. It's a tam." Yeah.
That's not an assumption anymore. Once he asks him and the guy tells him, that's more than an assumption.
You're saying the way I'm saying the case is incorrect. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying it's incorrect. I'm just saying I don't know if it is correct.
No, I hear you saying. You're saying
the Gemara is saying the Gemara is saying b'cheskas tam. If he asks the owner and the owner says yeah it's a tam, then that's what more can I do?
You think it would change then the din?
I think he's not asking him because they forgot to ask him. They didn't ask him. So I'm thinking it's a tam. That's my assumption. Is it's a tam?
I hear what you're saying. Okay, I hear. I don't know. We have to see in the maskana how that would be. But I hear what you're saying. You're saying it has to be those. He's like renting the car from the tam section. Right?
Yeah, but he didn't ask him. But the show has 7 tattoos on him and 6 bandages across his horns. Yeah.
I guess. I mean, yeah. I was thinking more along the lines of, you go to your rent-a-car, so you have different rows of different types of cars. So he went to the Tom section to get his rent-a-shar, and by mistake, they mixed in he got something from the Mu'id section, right? Okay, but you're right. Maybe if the owner lied to him, so maybe that would change the din. I hear. Okay, so let's go with the safer way, which is your way. So Shaul b'cheskas tam, he borrowed it in a chazaka that it was a tam. But and they found it was a mu'ud. So bailam b'sham and chatzi nezek. Now again, it's a mu'ud and a damage. So somebody's chayiv nezek shalom. So how does it go? The owners pay chatzi nezek. The shoyel mishalem chatzi nezek, and the shoyel pays chatzi nezek. We'll see in the Gemara why this is. That's case number 1. Case number 2 is who would be based shoyel. Let's say he borrowed a tam taker. And then, for whatever reason, this shor lost, just fell off a cliff and became a mu'ud after this guy rented it. or borrowed it, right? So he totally became a muad. And then he gives it back to the bailam. And when he gave it back to the bailam, it gored, right? So now it was a muad. It was borrowed as a tam, had negative influences from the borrower, became a muad, borrower gave it back to the lender, and then it gored somebody. So now is it a muad or not? So bailam misham and chatzi nezek. So the owners have to pay half nezek, the shayl potter miklum, and the shayl is potter from anything. We'll get back to this on number base. So now going back to the first case. So Amar Ma, Sholu b'cheskas tam v'nimtza muad. They borrowed it as a chazaka that was a tam, and it was found to be a muad. So bailam misham and chatzi nezek. The owners pay half, the shayl chatzi nezek, and the shayl pays half a nezek. So they're splitting it. V'amai lei malei. Let the lender say tura she'ili. I'm sorry, the borrower. Lei malei. Let the borrower say tura she'ili. Arya Lashili, I borrowed a shar, not a lion. I borrowed a calm thing. I thought I'm not going to have to do such a major shmira. And now it ends up being that it's a muad. So why should I be responsible? So it's talking about, now again here, we said this yesterday. It sounds like from here that there's like 3 levels. There's tam, and then there's a shar that's starting to get rowdy or agitated, and then there's muad. So we're saying here, he recognized that this shor is a little bit active, right? A little ADHD situation, right? And he didn't know that it gored 3 times, right? So he was makabel on himself to watch it like a tam, but he should have been more careful. So since he should have been more careful, he has to pay half. Okay, so then they want to ask the name of lay tam she'ili muad lo she'ili. Why can't he tell him I borrowed a tam? I didn't borrow a muad. Right? Meaning, even though he didn't watch it correctly, but he's saying I didn't have to. So my answer shem damar lay saif itam hava. If it would have been a tam, palganiska ba shlumi. Right? You would have to pay half. Hashtanami zil shlim palga. So he's an interesting teretz. Because the guy could tell him, the lender could tell him, let's say it would have been a tam, right? And it would have damaged. You have to pay half damages, right? So now pay half damages too. Not just because it's a muad, nobody's asking you to pay more than half, right? You borrowed, you admit that you borrowed a tam, right? So if it would have damaged as a tam, you would have to pay half damages because you're the one responsible. Good, so pay half damages, right? And the muad part, I'll take care of, right? So again, tam have a palgan niska boys shlume hashtanami zil shlum palgan niska pay half the damages. Fine, but the Gemara says v'nei malay tam have a mishtala migufa. Oh, so if it would be a tam, so we know as we have many times, a tam you pay from only migufa, right? So if the animal a muscle gores, it's a short time and it runs away, it's the guy's not gonna have any payment at all, right? If it's a muad, you have to pay manaliyah, meaning if the animal disappears, the guy's gonna have to take money out of his bank, right? So then he's saying, okay, but there is a disadvantage to me having to pay because if it was a tam, I only have to pay from the gufa. So the Gemara says, Mishum Damar Lei, the lender could tell him, Soif, at lav tura ba. Wouldn't you have to pay me a shar? Meaning, even if the shar disappears, right? You're gonna owe me a shar. Right? Again, the guy lent he lent the shar. So the guy that borrows it is responsible for it. The guy that borrows it says, yeah, but now that you're making it into a muad, I'm responsible to pay from anything. And if it was just a tam, it would only pay from the animal. So which the lender tells him, who cares? Let's say that the shar would have disappeared. So Taka, you would have been potter from Chatzi Nezek. But you owe me a shar, right? I lent you a shar, and it disappeared on you. So you're going to have to pay me back anyway. So therefore pay me half. Okay, then the Gemara says, B'nei malei onto the base. Im tamhu, if it would have been a tam, maidino maftarino. If this animal would be a tam, So I'm just gonna admit it, and then I'd be potter, right? Because Moed of Knas is potter, meaning he's holding that Chatzi Nezek is a Knas. All right, anything that's a fine, we said if you admit to doing it, then you don't have to pay the fine. So the borrower says, I could have admitted if it would be a tam, I could have admitted, and then I wouldn't have to pay anything. And now that it's a muad, I don't have that option. But and even according to the shita that says that half nezek is mammon, name a say to him, itamhu have a ma'arika leilahagma. If it was a tam, I would have made it. See, here we go again. Is this guy we're talking about a ganav here? I would have ran with the shor to the agam, to the what do you call it? To the how do you say it? To the swamps, and it would have hit over there like this. They wouldn't be able to take payment, right? All right. So Taisus really asks this. The second Taisus now. What are we talking about here? We're talking about a guy who's doing shaloi kedin. I mean, it's not. You can't. If your animal disappears, fine. You don't have to pay. But you're gonna go make it disappear, right? Is that what we're talking about here? Right? So it's hard to understand. Yeah. So so again, he says I would have, but I would have done that. Elohacha. So what are we talking about here? Going to active beidin of the tafse, new teretz. We're talking about where Bezdin already grabbed onto this ox before the guy had a chance to hide it in the swamps. All right. So Mamela, he can't have that title. So Gemara asks, if that's the case, then why the owners have to pay chatzi nezek? Namely, you made the shore get grabbed by somebody who I can't talk to because the Bezdin took it. Meaning the borrower, should not have let Bezdin take this cow as payment because you allowed them to do it. Therefore, they're making me pay. So then they're making me pay, and it was your problem. So then I have to pay. You have to pay me because since I have to pay, you have to pay me. So Gemara says no. Mishum damar lei. Mishum damar lei. Ihadarti nahalach. If I would have given you back the ox, la minoch have a shakli. Wouldn't they take it from you? Right? Meaning, who cares who gave the Bezdin the ox, the borrower or the lender? They would have taken it from you, if not. So why shouldn't you have to pay? Right? Okay, then v'nei malay. So then let the lender say, if you wouldn't have given it to me, I would have ran it to the swamps and made it be hidden. Right? Now that you didn't let me do that, because you gave it to the Bezdin, so now you're costing me money. Again, difficult to understand because we're talking about crooks over here. I mean, it sounds like we're talking about people that are dishonest. And lav me'aliyah mishtalme. He says, so what? So let's say if you're talking about a muad, and you would have hid your ox. Who cares? It was a muad, so you'd have to pay from your bank account. It's not a tam. A tam, it makes a difference to hide it because then you won't get any payment because the tam only gets paid from the actual animal that's available. But muad is going to have to pay from an aliyah. So what's it going to help you to chase it? To chase it or hide it? So I'm going to ask, that's only talking about where the seller, not the seller, the lender has nechasim, meaning he has assets. But if he doesn't have assets, what are you going to say? If this shore is gone, he's got nothing else with which to pay for the damages. Our answers the same way I am meshubit to you, meaning the borrower says the same way I'm meshubit to give you back an ox. You, meaning I'm also mechuyev to give the ox to the person that got damaged. How do you know? Because the good old Shiva de Rav Nosson, the Tani Rav Nosson, if somebody lends money and then that friend goes and lends another one money, how do you know you take from this one and give it to this one? Give it to the one who he owes money to. Right? Meaning that's a simple. The Shivadur Rav Nasan is basically, I borrow money from somebody, and that somebody borrows money from another guy. Right? So the guy that, meaning, let's use example. I lend Peretz money, and Peretz goes and lends Gershon money. Right? So I can just go straight to Gershon and take the money from Gershon because Gershon owes it to Peretz and Peretz owes it to me. So I could just jump Peretz. So we're saying the same thing here. Yes, I owe a shar to this lender, but the lender owes a shar to the guy that got damaged. So Mamela, we just jumped the middleman. Right? So but actually the truth is it's the other way around. The borrower owes a shar. One second, now I'm confused. The borrower owes a shar he owes a shar to both, right? He owes a shar to the guy he damaged, and he owes a shar to the guy. Well, I guess Mamano shar. That's what it's saying. Right. I'm sorry. Right. So the borrower has to pay the lender, right? And the lender has to pay the guy that got damaged, right? So it's a circle. So what he's saying is, I'll just jump you and give it straight to him. Okay, fine. That's the first case, right? So again, we're saying that the first case is talking about where Bezdin already grabbed onto the shar to take it as payment, and Mamela, each one has to pay half. The second case was who would the base shoyel, meaning what happened is that the guy borrowed it, and then it became a muad when he borrowed it, zero lebailam, and he gave it back to the bailam. So bailam masham and chatzi nezek, the bailam have to pay half nezek, the shoyel potter miklov. And the shoyel is potter from nothing. Again, interesting thing. Right? The borrower, it became a muad in the borrower's property. Then he gave it back. Then it damaged as a muad. So the shoyel is potter. Why? So the Gemara thinks, Sefer Rishus Mishana, Reisha Rishus Eina Mishana. The Sefer, the reason why he's potter is because, like we discussed yesterday, whenever the muad changes to a different owner, then it goes back to Tam, right? Meaning the assumption is that in this case, when he borrowed the shar, it was a Tam. It became a muad because for whatever reason, it didn't like its accommodations, it didn't like its boss, whatever it is, became a muad. Now he gave it back. Now the assumption is it's going to revert back to being a Tam. All right, so that's a machlokes. That is a machlokes whether we say that changing reshuyas changes it back to Tam. So the Reisha holds that it does. It does. Sorry, the Sefer holds that it does, and that's why when it goes back to the lender, only the lender is on the hook, and not everybody, and not the one that borrowed that where it was a shar, and he'd have to pay chatzi nezek, right? Because it went back to the Tam. You have a Tavra who says broken. It really means broken, right? Misha shonazu, lo shonazu. No, it's not a stira. Meaning you're going to say that the Reisha is one way and the Sefer is another way? No, whoever learned this one didn't learn this one. Rabba Amar mi the Reisha Rishus Eina Mishana, Sefer Nami Rishus Eina Mishana. Rabba says, so no, they both hold that changing Rishuyas does not change the din. It will not change it from a muad to a Tam. The Sefer, Hainu Taima, so then how come in the Sefer the lender is chayiv chatzi nezek and the borrower is potter? Mishum damar le lav kol kamir to be honest to right. You don't have the wherewithal to make my shar into a muad. All you did was borrow my shar, was a Tam. Now you want to say that you made it into a muad? Now I have to suffer the consequences because you made my shar into a muad? No way. You don't have that. You don't have that power. All right. So Mamela goes back to being a Tam. That's one. Papa says the opposite. Papa with the Sefer Rishus Mishana Reishanam Rishus Mishana. And both of them, when you change the Rishus, it changes from a muad to a Tam. Okay, so in the Reisha, Hainu time, which in the Kamma shame by the Reisha, even though it was a muad when it was in the lender's property, right? But it does not go it doesn't go back to being a tam in meaning right. Normally we say that according to this teretz that the reshus does change it. So l'chayra, even though it was a muad when it was by the lender's property, when it goes into the borrower's property, it should go back to being a tam. However, when a guy, this is not a sale. If it would be a sale, then a taka would go back to being a muad. But it's not a sale. This was a borrowing. So when you borrow it, it still has the name of the lender all over it. I'm assuming the same thing as a rent a car. Right? You can rent a car from Hertz, let's say. Right? It's nobody's gonna think, oh, this is your car. Right? They say it's Hertz. It's Hertz's car, so it still has that name on it. Since it still has that name on it, for whatever reason, that will affect whether the animal is going to be a tam or a muad. Right? Okay, so we have three pshatim as to whether the shinoi changes. We have either there's two different shitas, and whoever learned one didn't learn the other, or we have that they both hold that it doesn't change reshuyas, or we have that they both hold that it does change reshuyas, and you have to answer the resha and the seif. Fine. The last case in the Mishnah was shoret stadin einoi chayev. Right. So a shor from a stadium is not chayev misa. Why? Because it's trained to be it's trained to hurt people, hurt cows, whichever it is. Right. So it's potter. So something. What is the din for a mizbeh? Can you bring this shor that killed somebody? Right? Can you bring it as a mizbeach? Meaning as a korban. Meaning we know that an animal that killed somebody cannot be brought as a korban. Right? What about the sharet of its stadin, which is it's coerced or prodded to kill, right? So what's the din? This comes up, by the way, with now with the war. We have Kaihanim that kill Goyim even. The Shilas, can they duchen? And a Kohen that kills is really not allowed to do the Avodah. Right? So can they duchen or not? So that's a whole Shilah. I don't know what exactly they come out with.
They do tshuva.
Rabbi Yosef said they can.
So, yeah, so it's a total in the
They're protecting them out of life and death. They're not doing it. They're forced.
Correct, but that's sort of the shiloh over here with the shor and stad. I mean, obviously, one is a shor and one is a human, but that's all part of the shiloh, right? Does doing it under duress make it that you can't do avodah? That's a shiloh. So ma'aligam is there. So Rav Amar kosher. Shmuel Amar Pasel. Rav says kosher. Shmuel says pasel. Rav Amar kosher. Onasu.
Sorry to interrupt. I just thought of it. Can we learn from the story of Hanukkah? They were all Kohanim, and then they did Chanukah Mizbeach. They fixed the Mizbeach after they killed all the Greeks, the Yevanim.
I like that. Must be. That's a good raya, but it's too good a raya.
Some 100 simba, no?
Miso Dramatzibu, you say. Taka, they probably, I would imagine that's a good point. That's a valid point. Thank you. That's good. We got to look through the chuvas and see if they bring that.
It would seem a bigger problem for Svardim, but by the Ramah is much more makel. But I think it'd be a bigger problem with Svardim. We never know if they're Kahanim or not, whatever.
Why don't you know if they're Kahanim?
Oh, I take that back. It wasn't nice.
Well, anyway, anyway, so that's a shiloh. Same thing here. So Rav says Einis, and Shmuel says Pasel. Rav says Rav is kosher because he's an Einis. Shmuel says Pasel because Lamaisa Avera was done. There was an Avera done with it. So Meisvei, the Gemara has a long kasha here now. Min behema, it says that you have to bring a carbon from a behema. Lahaitzi as a revev as a nirva. it excludes bestiality, whether he's on the receiving end of the animal or the giving end of bestiality. You cannot bring that animal as a carbon. Min habakar, and from the cattle, lahaitias and neva comes to exclude if they use it as a avodah zarah. Min hatzayin lahaitias a muksa, right? To exclude muksa, meaning not muksa on Shabbos, right? Meaning if they used it as a carbon for avodah zarah. Umin hatzayin lahaitias and negech comes to exclude a shor that gored. Okay, so that's it again. The Mina Behema is coming to exclude bestiality on either end. Mina Bakar is coming to exclude if it was used as an avodah zarah. Mina Tzayin is coming to exclude if you use it as a carbon, right? And then Min Hatzayin, right? So is coming to exclude what is it? Those if it gored. Yeah. Fine. So Amar Rav Shimon im never roiva lama never negech. If it says bestiality, meaning one that actually was the animal was the giver, so then what does it say negech? Im never negech lama never roiva. What does it say roiva? Meaning both of these things are chayim misa, right? So then why do you need both? Just say one, you'll know the other. There's something about each one that the other one doesn't have. By roiva, it's an einus. We make an einus just like a rotz, right? Meaning we don't care that a human slept with the animal and forced it. It doesn't make a difference. It still gets killed. So negeach loy also by einus karotzim, but negeach the einus is not like a rotz, right? Which is what our proof is going to be to our Gemara. Negeach mishalim koifer, and a negeach pays koifer. Roiva ain't mishalim is koifer. Does not pay koifer. That's why it says roiva and it says negeach. So Katani Mia, so we learn, however, roiva also by einus karotzim. An einus is like a rotzim. Negeach loy also by einus karotzim. But if it gored, einus is not like rotzim. So what's the difference whether it gored by mistake or on purpose? Isn't it for a carbon? Right? So what does that teach us? That an ox that was put into stadiums is mutter to be used, and that's a raya to that's a raya to Ram and Akash on Shmuel. So we say loy l'katala. It's not talking about for carbon. It's talking about for killing, right? Meaning if a shar killed a person on its own, so then he's chayav misa. If he did it by einus, then he's not chayav misa. Havanam Star, the one that says that makes sense. The amr the carbon, because if we say it's for carbon, negeach loy also by einus karotzim, and negeach goring, they don't do einus karotzim. Lav einus didei ksiv, v'loy rotzim didei ksiv. Right? Doesn't say anywhere about einus. It doesn't say anywhere about rotzim. Alalav v'ktala. So it must be that it's not coming for carbon. It's coming for the killing. Okay, let's see the Mishnah, I guess. Amar Mar. Negeach Mashalim is a koifer. One that gores pays koifer. Roiva, any Mashalim is a koifer. Roiva does not pay koifer. Right? What's the case? Even with the rob of a katla, if you say that the ox first it was mezana with the woman, and Memela had killed her because she's high misa. So the mali katla v'karna mali katla v'rabiyah. So what's the difference if you killed the woman with the horns or you killed the woman with sleeping with the woman? Right? It must be meaning kaifer is kaifer. Ella the rava v'loi katla. So what are you going to say? He was mazana with her. The animal was mazana with her, but he didn't kill her. So I delay mashalim kaifer. The reason why he doesn't pay kaifer is from delay katlahu because he didn't kill. Right. So when exactly is the situation where there's no kaifer? We're talking about where the animal was together with the woman and didn't kill her. But then they brought the woman to the Bezdin, and she was killed by Bezdin. Now the same amount of Aleph now. Kimanda Katla Dami. Why don't we look at it like the animal killed her? Because Lamaisa, she slept with the animal, so the animal's the one that caused her to be killed. Kamash Malon. So it tells us that he's potter from koifer, right? That because he lamaisa, he's not only when he actually kills. Yeah, fine. Rava Amar, Loilam de Rava Katul. No, we're talking about where he slept with her, the animal slept with her, and he killed her. With the kashala of Mali Katul or Karnayim, Mali Katul or what's the difference if he killed her with the Karnayim or whether he killed her with the Maisa of the bestiality? Karen Kavanose Lahazir. By Karen, his kavana was to do damage, so you got to pay koifer. Hi, kavanose lanos atzma. Here, the animal wasn't looking to kill the woman; he was just trying to get some hana. Right? So therefore, there's going to be no koifer. Fine. B'mayik pligi. What's the machlokes? Right? The regel shadar sal gabi tinok b'chatzar and nizik. We had this a bunch of blood ago, way a long time ago. But the regel that trampled the kid in the chutzner of the nizik. Right? And now Labai Mishalim Koifer, according to Abaye, pays Koifer, right? Because he didn't, even though he didn't do it for Hana, he was just stopped walking around. The Rava Lai Mishalim Koifer, according to Rava, he doesn't pay Koifer because Rava says it's totally in his intention. And his intention was not to kill the kid, he was just walking around. He happened to have stood on top of the kid. Tani Kavasei, the Rav, Shorit.
Yaakov, can an animal have intention?
It seems like from these Gemaras that it can, yeah. Yeah. Seems like there's things that are totally in
You see the Palestinians, these Hamas, they have intention. So they're animals. So you see an animal can have
I think you said that last week when we were discussing animals having intention.
okay, so good nothing's changed, I guess, right? Yeah, Simon, I don't think they're doing it. Meaning an animal's an animal, so it could be they're doing it to kill, or they're doing it to.
That's not intention. An inherent, like they're not bardas. An intention means that they think about it. Versus, it's like their natural instincts. Like they feel threatened, they're gonna gore. They're gonna whatever it is.
Right, so
they don't say l'shem yichud.
But why is that not intention, Simon?
Intention means that you think about it.
Well,
It could be similar to the case where it rubs its back on the wall. It's doing it for hana. When it eats, it's getting hana. I think that's the case of hana.
Right, or I don't know, 100%. Or he's walking around. He's getting around walking around. He happened to have stood on top of the thing. Never, this happened. We shouldn't know from these things. Like 10 years ago, there was a bear that came out of the forest in the country and killed a kid. Now, bears, from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, don't eat flesh. All right? They said all the bear did was see this baby and pick the baby up in its mouth. And that was that. And then it dropped it. But unfortunately, it's a strong bite and it never could have killed the child. That wasn't intentional, right? If somebody would have attacked the bear and the bear went after it, so then that would be an intentional thing. That's when I read this story, that's what it reminds me of, unfortunately. Right? So that's why I think, Simon, but ich weiß nicht. Tani Kava say the Rab, Shor Hadstaden, Einer Chaya Misa, Shor from a stadium, Shor is not Chaya Misa. The kosher lagabi mizbeach, mipnei shehu kimausa, and it's kosher because it's looked like it's mausa, like from a get mausa. It was forced into it. It wasn't his choice, right? So it seems like we have the brisa, like Rav, and that is the way we paskin, as far as I know. Right? We paskin like Rav. Okay, we'll stop over there. Say some Tim on that note. All right, Pei Gimel. Shimmer is well sof. Elim Adam Ilah, Atechrash, Vatishkaif El, Kinay Ayahu Yamayan, Musanecha, Nasurash, Alamacha Yarim Usai, Bisiatsu Atsunecha Amru, Human Akine, Migai, Villa Yisaf, Shani Sarlai, Kinay to Leviachta, Valecha, Bristi Christ, Ale, Adam, Ishmael, and Yav Agrim. Kval Baman Vamalek Leshes and Yoshpetzor, Gam Rasham, Viva, Imam Hayizrael, Mailet Sela, Salem Kibidjan, Kisisra, Kiyavan, and Hakisha, Nishmu, and Dora, Yidoim Adama, שיסיימה גדיבמה כאוירה וחזהו וחזהו וחזלמון לכל נסיכימה אשר אמרו ניר שלנו אס נויז אלוהים אלוהי שיסיימה כגלגל כיכר של פני רוח כאיש דבר יורח ולבת אלוהי תהרים כאינטר בפני בשריך ובסופס לסף עליהם בעלי פניהם כל הם יבקשו שמך אדוני ויבואשו ויבואו עדיהם ויאחרו ויעבדו כי אתה שמך אדוני לבדך על יונה כל הארץ אחינו כבש ישראל הנשאו למצור ושבי העם גבים היום ויבואו בשם מקים אחינו עליהם ויצא מצור לרווחה מאחרי ללילה ונשיב לגאולה עכשיו הגלה בזמן קריב ונאמר אמן. All right. Suras Tovus, a good Chodesh, Lichtig and Chanukah. And yeah, I have a Shiloh, Taka. It's buy one, get one free on the ice cream today, right? So my kids want me to take them out to get ice cream.
Tomorrow.
What?
Carvel is tomorrow.
Oh, no, very delicious, about 10 times the price of Carvel. All right. So my Shiloh is, I go tonight, or tomorrow's Rosh Chodesh, you get the money back anyway. So why should I rush out there tonight? I might as well go tomorrow and pay double the price. No?
The Shiloh is, why do they
It's
have
Rosh
it in
Chodesh
Russia?
now. One second, it's Rosh Chodesh now.
Tiago,
I know, but then I
I'm actually out. I'm
tomorrow.
actually outside the store. Do you want?
One second.
Are you going in?
But
Yes, Emmy's going in now.
The problem is that you're not gonna. I gotta figure out a way to pay you back. So
but
I'll
it's
be
Rosh Chodesh
back.
now, isn't it?
Naftali, they want it for tomorrow.
They want it and buy it now and put it in your freezer, no?
That's the
Sounds
shot.
good.
I'm a chuyev to do
That's
that.
okay.
That is
They don't
the
want it for now. Okay.
Yeah.
You want?
I don't know. I gotta call and see if they. I know they asked me if I could get. So,
Oh boy, I gotta go. Let me know, Tiago. Call me.
yeah. All right. Fine. On that note, I wish everybody a good